A standard question that people are asked when they're interviewing or negotiating for a job that oftentimes throws people off is, what are you making now? There are a number of reasons why this question is difficult. One of the reasons is that it's not advantageous for you to tell the truth. Second reason is that even if you don't tell the truth, what a smart person on the other side is going to do is they're going to infer that the reason that you're not forthcoming with an answer is presumably it's because you're not getting paid much. So even if you don't tell the truth, they're probably going to conclude that you're not making that much money. The third reason is that the person on the other side of the table has done this a lot. So you, when you're interviewing or negotiating for a salary, you're doing this once every few years. They're doing this once a week, maybe every day. And so to the extent that they are rehearsed and polished and scripted in terms of this conversation, they're going to be much more fluent, much more knowledgeable than you are. And probably the last reason is that a lot of people fear, maybe irrationally, maybe rationally, that if they do something foolish, if they lie during this negotiation, if they seem less than forthcoming, if they seem oafish or whatever, then even if they get the job, even if they get a salary, that perception, that reputation is going to carry forward in terms of their time with the company. So one of the things that we did recently is we did a survey in which we asked people, we were actually posed people with this particular dilemma. In particular, they were making $105,000 now. They got a job offer for a job in which they were going to make more than that, maybe 115, maybe all the way up to 160. And the first question that the HR manager asked is, what are you getting paid now? And the way that the survey worked is that respondents produced a script, a set of words that they would say in that particular situation, and then they also rated other people's answers. So the idea is that everybody who submitted answers also got rated on a 1 to 7 scale, with 7 being really high and 1 being so low. One of the things that's interesting is that overall, when we have people rate responses on a 1 to 7 scale, none of these responses are rated all that favorably. So on average, the average response is rated 3.4 out of 7, which is not exactly very outstanding. And even the highest rated responses are rated 5 out of 7, 5.2 out of 7. Responses that are in the top 10% are rated 4.8. So those aren't exactly extremely compelling numbers, but they are rated as the best responses. So what I think that reflects is the fact that this is just an enormously difficult situation. It's a situation that's very disadvantageous to most people. And so the best thing that you can do in these situations is pretty mediocre in a lot of ways. And I think the best rated responses really amount to something like this, which is they try to move the conversation to value. So if the conversation is about where you're starting from or the lowest that they can pay, that's a losing proposition. If you can make the conversation about value, about what you bring to the company, what you're worth, what you're adding, then at least you have a chance of doing well. Now, the problem in that particular situation is it's very, very easy for an HR manager to pivot the conversation back to salary or back to cost. And to the extent that, that's going to be an inevitable anchor in a conversation, if they do that effectively, they're probably going to do well in this negotiation.